Hi everyone, hope you've had a good week. It's Sarah, your leadership, career and mindset expert, and welcome to this live. So this one is all about when we say to ourselves, I don't know what I want and I don't know what I want to do. Hi Julie, happy Friday to you. Hope you've had a good week. Thank you for those that are joining this evening. I know it's a beautiful sunny day. I'm going to go and sit in the garden after this, make the most of the sunshine. But really, what I'm going to tackle is something that comes up a lot in my coaching calls. Hi, thanks Julie. It comes up a lot in my coaching calls. It's when people say to me, I don't know what I want to do, or I don't know what I want. Now, on some level, and I can't tell you, I think it comes up, I would say about 80% of the time. So if you are feeling that, then it's not uncommon and you're not alone. I've had times like that in my life, as in, I just don't know what I want, I don't know what I want to do. And that can be a very confusing and overwhelming place to be in. Because I think once we've done a little bit of sorting through and identified what we do want, then it makes it easier to go for those things and focus on those things, or even relationships that we want to be in. So for example, you've been, I'm just going to use a completely random example. Say you've been married for 20 years and you were married in your 20s, you're now in your 40s and your relationship ends. And you thought you knew what you wanted when you were 20, but obviously that's a 20-year gap. People evolve, people change, what we want changes, and what other people want changes. Many of us will go through some changes, and perhaps some people won't. They'll just stay exactly the same as they are, which is fine as well. But it's almost like, if you've been in a relationship for a long time, it's like being in a job for a long time. Because you've been in something for so long, you become conditioned to that one thing, that one situation. And the scariest thought about change is, I don't know what I want, because you're so used to being in that situation, whether it's of your choosing or not. You know, perhaps you're choosing to leave your role or change your role. Perhaps you're choosing to leave your relationship or be with a different person. But to use the marriage or relationship example, once you identify, do you know what? This is how I want to feel with that person. These are the qualities I want in that person. You know, whether it's respect, whether it's honesty, whether it's fun. You know, you're starting to get a clear idea of what you want. Because otherwise, the whole world's your oyster. And there's an expression and focus on everything and you focus on nothing. Or I think it's stand for everything and you stand for nothing. So whether it is a relationship or a career, sometimes we just need to take that time to identify what you do want. Now, if you are in that situation or feel like you're coming into that situation, or it's been going around in your mind, don't worry. It's really common, and it's one of the, I would say, one of the biggest areas that I focus on when I'm coaching people, be that life direction, typically about career. But if we keep telling ourselves, I don't know what I want, I don't know what I want to do, then can you imagine, it's like a scratched record. For those of you that are old enough to remember vinyl records, oh sorry, my window's just blown open, vinyl records, or you know, they just sort of spin around and they get stuck at times. That record gets stuck in the same place, so it goes and it never moves forward. The needle just gets stuck, and it is like being a bit of a scratched record. So one of the first things you can do, and that's not to say that isn't legitimate, it legitimately can feel like, look, I'm not kidding Sarah, I don't know what I want to do, I really don't. It can feel very, very real. So as I always say, this isn't about running away from those kinds of feelings. Thank you for your comments and your emojis on here, thank you. What I'm not saying is bury it, forget about it, run away, pretend that you do know and fake it. No, what I'm saying is dive into it, But if you notice yourself saying things like, I don't know what I want, I don't know what I want to do, just remind yourselves that the more that you tell yourself that, the more you're programming the computer being your brain, and then your brain is your thoughts, which become your feelings, that become your actions. Or maybe it's a feeling that's become a thought and then an action. So just catch yourself. If you feel yourself saying, I don't know what I want, I don't know what I want to do. Yes, I understand that feels very real. Yes, I spend time with my clients really disentangling that. Once we know what they want, we've worked out the details in a few sessions, then we're like, great, let's set a plan for motion. It does feel real, but the more you say it, the more you kind of get stuck in that groove. So there's a nice little hack you can say to this. You can say to yourself, I don't know what I want for now. Now that, can you feel the difference in that? Because when you say something very absolute, like, I just don't know what I want to do, and don't get me wrong, we're all entitled to outbursts, but if it's repetitive thinking, that's not a great sign. It means you're stuck in a pattern that you need to kind of unravel. So say to yourself, I don't know what I want to do for now, because that means it's not permanent. This is a temporary situation, which is about you understanding that there's a bit of work that you need to do to really disentangle and figure out what you want. So just tag on the end of that sentence, I don't know what I want to do for now. I don't know what I want to do at the moment. So if you feel like it's too much of a jump to say, do you know what, I'm getting clear on what I want, I'm going to take steps forward, which is an even better thing to be saying to yourself, a much more healthier, empowering set of thoughts and beliefs and patterns you can tell yourself, like being on the treadmill and speeding up the treadmill. If you feel that's too much of a jump, then just sort of ease it up a notch and say, I don't know what I want for now. I don't know what I know, if I know what I want at the moment. There's a slight difference there. It's not permanent, you know, and this is work that I do with my clients all the time. Now, if you feel like, do you know what, that feels okay for me, I'm not getting a resistance to that phrase, then start telling yourself, I'm going to start getting really clear about what I want in my career or my relationship. I'm going to take step forwards to my relationship, and then even better, I am taking step forwards in my career. I am planning my new career. I am clear on my new career. I am getting clearer on my new career, because so much of coaching is about, yes, it's about goals, it's about plans, it's about rewiring thinking and beliefs that we've had since young that no longer belong to us. So much of it is about this kind of disentangling these initial beliefs that we have about ourselves and changing the way that we talk to ourselves. And it is, as I've said before, it's a bit like going to the gym. If you go to the gym and you want a six-pack, or, you know, like really like great big biceps or something, or bikini body, whatever it is, whatever I'm allowed to say in this day and age, then you're not going to get that overnight. What it is going to take is effort, persistence, perhaps some goals and some motivation. And it's the same with what's going up here. You need that like gym in your brain working in the right direction. And sometimes, you know, we all have days where it's like, oh, I'm not feeling so motivated today, perhaps I'm tired, perhaps I haven't eaten the right things. But really the big thing is about loosening up those phrases and just tagging on, I don't know what I want for now, I don't know what I know for the moment, if I know what I want at the moment, just kind of softens it up a bit. Interesting. So I've just had a comment here saying, I don't know what I want to be. Okay, so what might be a good exercise is actually write down what you don't want to be in a journal, and then flip it around and say, right, what's the opposite of that? And if there are people that you respect and like, then see what characteristics they have. That might help you. Hi Toby. Oh, thanks for liking my post this week. It's lovely to see you. I've just been talking about when we say to ourselves, I don't know what I want, or I don't know, you know, I don't know anything, I don't know where I want to go. what I've suggested is, if you do feel really overwhelmed with that sort of thinking, say, I don't know what I want for now, because it's not permanent, it's a temporary thing that will be shifted. And it's very common to feel like this, and sometimes it really does feel that you don't know what you want, because sometimes we're too close to our own problems. So that's what I help clients to do, is disentangle those problems and shift the mindset to get them working in the right direction. So listen to the stories you're telling yourself in your mind. Take a note of what you're thinking and what you're saying to yourself, because everything you say is programming the computer. And as I've just mentioned, practice saying something else to yourself, something more empowering, because it is like going to the gym. Can you imagine if we wanted to go on a fitness and exercise plan, and it's like, this is how I want to look and feel in 8 weeks' time. But in those 8 weeks, we keep eating chocolates and drinking the wrong things and doing that, then you're not going to get to those goals, I'm afraid, because so much about that is about what you eat, what you drink. It's the same with your mindset. It is like going to the gym for the brain, okay? So it's really common. You can soften up the phrases and say, I don't know what I want for now. Just catch yourself saying, saying those things, and then soften it up a bit. And then if you can go a step further, I am getting clearer on my goals. I am getting clearer, because getting suggests there's momentum. Now, if you're feeling really brave, and I know this is difficult for some people, stand in front of the mirror and say these things to yourself. Say them out loud, say them with conviction, say them with good body language. It may feel really weird, but once you get used to it, you'll feel like, hey, this is really easy. So just give it a go. It's, if you can do that, that's amazing progress, because a lot of people can't look at themselves in the mirror and tell what they really like about themselves, or say these phrases out loud, such as, I am getting clearer, I am moving forward, I am taking steps in my goals. So try it in front of the mirror. If you feel uncomfortable with that, record them on your phone. If you're somebody, a lot of us are working at home at the moment, but if you go for a run and you kind of got your iPhone, your earpods in, then record them on your phone. Or if you don't like the sound of your own voice and it causes a bit of a reaction, there are places where you can get these affirmations recorded for you, and it doesn't cost that much. The other thing you do, write them out. So just every time you hear that, I don't know what I want to do, I don't know what I want, that's a sign. It will feel real, but I promise you, you do know. It just takes a bit of digging, and it takes a bit of mindset shift work. And unfortunately, the more that we say those things to ourselves, we get stuck. And of course, we all lose direction at times, but the more that we say it, the more that we create the situation that we don't want. It's almost like what we resist persists, and what we focus on, we get more of. So if you can imagine that we're saying, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, the reply from your brain is going to be, she doesn't know, she doesn't know, she doesn't know. And you're going to get more of it, if that makes sense. So it's a bit of a vicious cycle that we need to break. So don't be scared of making the wrong decision. I mean, what is a wrong decision anyway? We've all done things that haven't worked out, whether that choose the wrong partner, go to the wrong holiday destination, pick the wrong job. I certainly know that when I was 31, I went into a job and I thought, wow, this is not for me. I'm not enjoying this. But I was so scared of changing. But it just got to a point where it's like, I don't care, I just need to leave this role, and it was the right thing to do. I just didn't enjoy the role at all. So we've all had those situations where we've made a bit of a wrong turn, but it's never a wrong turn. What is a wrong turn is if you do something, make a decision, it's not working for you, and you just think, do you know what, I'm just going to stay here, I'll just ignore it. That's not really an empowering way to live our lives. So I'd always encourage you to learn from your mistakes, as we call them. But, that's part of life's journey, isn't it? We didn't know what we knew last month about a job or a person. Now, there's lots of things that I coach my clients to do in terms of finding out as much information as they can about jobs and careers. But, the worst thing to do is stay stuck. So Don't worry about making the wrong decision, because you can always make another decision. That's all you have to do, is go, do you know what? This isn't working. What's not working here? Right, that's not working, so I want less of that. I want more of this, and just make another decision. That's all it is. It's just, you're just another decision away for something that's better for you. So I don't think any of us here are open heart surgeons. So I think, you know, we can afford to sort of take a job and realise it's not quite the right one for us. But the thing is, it's all about onward momentum, because if we stop by telling ourselves, I don't know what I want, we're never going to make progress. So start small, start somewhere, reframe that script, and, you know, write it down, say it in the mirror, record it, buy some, you know, something on iTunes. I'm sure there's iTunes and apps about, you know, I don't know what I want for now. If that's where you need to start with that phrase, for now, because that just says temporary. If not, let's step it up. I'm moving closer towards my goals. I know what I'm doing. If you start doing this, you are guaranteed to be making progress, because your brain's going to go, ah, he or she is saying something different. Okay, right, and I'm hearing this. So I'm building my mental muscles to get ready for a change. And very often, you know, I'm afraid to say, when I'm coaching people, sometimes it feels as though we can use that to avoid taking action. It can be a bit of an avoidance strategy if we're not careful. So if it's something you've been saying to yourself for a long time, you might just want to kind of check in with yourself, because if we keep saying it, we're guaranteed not to make the progress that we want. So listen to the stories, change the script, use some of the techniques I've just talked about, and just make a small change. A small change, a small change, a small change leads to big changes, big changes, big changes overall. And have hope that you will find what you love to do. You know, you will find, I don't know if it's a relationship, the person you want to be with. Have faith, because what's the likelihood, if you're sitting down feeling disempowered and a bit sorry for yourself and going, oh, I don't know what to do, what's the likelihood of that thing landing on your lap or being invited into your life? I would say it's less likely than if you sit back and go, do you know what? I'm going to get really clear on what I want. I'm just going to take some time and figure out what I want. I'm going to be clear on what careers I like, what I'm good at, and what I don't like and what I don't want. But I'm really going to focus on what I do want. I'm going to look at what other people are doing. I'm going to tell myself good things about myself. I have got lots of skills, because you have got the answers in there somewhere, I promise you. Because I've coached so many people where, particularly when we've had an intensive session of a few hours, and the script has been, but Sarah, I don't know what I want. And we go through loads of exercises, we go through it, you know, the vision of your life, the goals that you want in your career, where your career fits in with the rest of your life, or it might just be about your overall life if it's all feels a bit messy. And within a couple of hours, a few hours, it's like, do you know what? I've always wanted to do this. Do you know what? I'm really good at this and I really enjoy it. And that is like the light bulb moment, because they've stopped telling themselves, I don't know what I want, because I've helped them to do that. And we focus on what they do want. And then that gives space for those ideas that are buried there within you to come forward. So that's typically what happens when I'm working with people. So you do have the answers in there somewhere. It's just about finding them. So some other things that might help you if you are feeling a bit, I don't know what I want to do, I don't know what I want, whether it's, you know, I talk a lot about career, but actually a lot of the tools, as I say quite often, can be used in relationships or your overall life purpose, your life goals. Your purpose is really important. What are you about? What makes you happy? Is it that you have a sort of longing and a desire to help young entrepreneurs set up and run businesses? Is it a desire to work in the health service or help protect the health of other people? Is it, I love writing and I want to be able to express myself creatively? Is it, do you know what, I want to work abroad, somewhere hot, somewhere sunny? So have a think about, do you know what? What's my theme? Sometimes it's called your purpose. What makes me happy? So I know that in my life, that my ability to help others lead a fulfilled life is what I love doing. It's just I get such a massive buzz from it. Well, yeah, well done. We've had some people here identifying already, so that's a really good theme there that we've just had on the chat. And I think then it's about deep diving into it in terms of, right, I love to do this because, and then having a think about, well, where have I done this before in my career or my life, and you know, how happy did that make me? Were there certain things about that I really, really enjoyed? So, you know, you'll start off with a broad statement and then you can start diving into it. What are the things you love to do? Who inspires you? So there may be certain people in society, in politics, friends, family, you go, do you know what, that person, I just love what they do, or I love how they are. And what is the quality that you love about them? Is it that they're funny? Is it that they're creative? Is it that they're quietly intellectual? Is it that they are, I don't know, outrageous? Or it could be anyone. It doesn't have to be somebody famous, but there might be somebody who really inspires you. So I'm going to fess up. I get really inspired by the pop star Pink, and I've thought about it because I don't always like her music. Some of her songs I like, some of them I don't, but she just strikes me as a really kind of strong female that's got her own identity. It's not just because of the hair, I promise. Hers is spikier than mine, but there's something about her that I just find really inspiring, and I think it's because she gives it her all. So it's like, oh, okay, because I know that's the theme of my life, like sort of doing everything to my best abilities. And ask yourself, what makes me feel good? What am I good at? You know, what do I get most joy from? Start thinking about those basic questions, and don't stop yourself coming up with ideas, because those ideas are like little nuggets of information. They're clues that tell you, perhaps this is something that I want to do. I remember when I had a lady, before lockdown, she came round, and we actually spent the best part of a whole day together. We did an intensive VIP day because I could tell she was very worried and very panicky. So it was like, okay, let's get you around here, let's have a chat. And I do those on Zoom now, obviously at the moment because of lockdown. And we were sitting there talking and talking. We went through some of these exercises. I'm just giving you the top line now, but we went into some of these exercises, and she went, do you know what, Sarah? We're having a cup of coffee. She said, do you know what, Sarah? I've always fancied like getting a catering van and sort of selling coffee and snacks. And I was like, and her whole body language changed. It was almost like she was scared to admit to herself. And this was somebody that a few hours ago had been saying, I don't know what I want to do. So she did know, just needed to reframe things and get her in the right mindset. So try some of these questions, write it all down, and if, you know, the worst comes to the worst, this is what I don't want, this is what I do want, and compare them side by side, but continuing to use these negative phrases or disempowering phrases like I don't know what I want, I don't know what I want to do. Over time, I hate to say it, folks, it does affect your mental health. And it can, and obviously, as we know, mental health has a serious impact on stress and our physical health. The more that we as human beings continue to speak the same negative words or negative phrases, it becomes a habit, and it brings further harm to ourselves mentally and physically. And as I've mentioned before, I think there's a lot of statistics to show that the earlier we start in our lives, it doesn't matter if you're just starting now, it doesn't matter what age you are, you can change your life, change your thinking at any time, but the sooner you start, the better is what I'm saying, because it affects mental health and physical health. You know, I quite often talk about this around the stress and the hormones and the chemicals that run through our body when we're feeling stressed, under pressure. It actually hardens our arteries, it's not very good for our brain, you know, and our mind and body is connected. It can lead to digestive problems. So it's really important. It's as important as getting fresh air as much as we can, getting exercise, eating the right foods, drinking water. Let's not forget the brain. So it's really in your best interests to start with avoiding or thinking about, how do I say this differently? I don't know what I want for now. So it's not forever, it's just for now. And if you can go a step further, then start saying, I'm getting really clear on what I want. I know what I want. I know my direction is becoming clear. And then when you're becoming more confident about that and you're taking actions, I am clear on my career direction. I am clear on my goals. So because once you believe that, once you start to believe that, then suggests it's already happened. So your brain thinks, oh yeah, she's already that. Yeah, that's fine. Whereas if we tell it something else, our brain will tell us whatever we believe, we tell it, So we've got a lot of capacity to change our thinking and change our lives, because a lot of the work, as I said before, I do with people is around the mindset shift. And particularly when it comes to careers, I hear people say it a lot, I don't know what I want to do. So let's watch those thoughts, let's reframe them as I've just said. Let's think about, okay, right, what do I enjoy doing? What makes me happy? What's my theme in my life? That might change over the years and evolve as you get older, as you have changes in your life. Things do evolve, but mine has kind of stayed the same, to do things to the best of my ability and to be happy wherever I can. If I can't be happy, change it. That's kind of that's a bit of a longer version, but that's my statement. It's pretty much stayed my purpose. So have a think about that, your theme, your purpose, and think about, as I said, what makes me happy, what do I love to do, what kind of people do I like to be with, what characteristics have they got, who inspires me, what is it about them, what makes me feel good, what am I good at, because in there, if you start asking yourself these questions, you're opening yourself up. Whereas if you say, I don't, I can't, it's like locking a door, locking a door, locking a door, locking a door. It gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and we close in. Whereas what we want to do is expand our thinking. And that's what some of these techniques will do for you. And it only takes, honestly, I've just seen it time and time again. Just by making these small changes, you can start to improve your life and your results. I know, I've done it myself. I know that my life is 1,000,000% better when I started thinking about this stuff in my 20s, when I realised, oh, hang on a minute, I read a book called The Secret. Some of you may have heard of that. That was my entry point into this way of thinking, and from there I read and read and read, and I can tell you that since I have my moments, some of you will have seen my videos before about how we learn from negative experiences, negative thinking, how we can switch it up a bit. I don't believe in running away from those things, but the more you get into the habit of some of these techniques that I've shared, I'll guarantee you your life results are going to change. Things may not always go according to plan, but what you will do is have a flexible mindset that says, okay, right, that was a bump in the road. What do I do now? But I've given you lots of tips tonight and lots of different phrases. You can start to ease yourself forward and kind of remove that block of, I don't know what I want and I don't know what I want to do, because I have a lot of people saying it, and very often it's because people are sometimes embarrassed to admit that, I've been stuck in a job I haven't really enjoyed. Sometimes it can be a procrastination tip, because once you admit to yourself fully and honestly that you're not happy, then it usually means you're going to start doing something about it, which does require effort and momentum. So there you go, a few tips here about catching your thoughts and how that naughty little phrase that I hear so often with my clients can keep you stuck and get you stuck in a habit. It's like biting your nails. If you keep biting your nails aren't going to grow. So it was just a phrase that I wanted to discuss tonight, because it does come up a lot when I'm coaching people about their careers, and usually, we do know, you just need some help to get there sometimes. Let's have a look. So well done. Yes, feel free to rewatch it, ask any questions if I've gone too fast and you want to ask a question. But yeah, amazing. So take the techniques on board, and thank you for watching. I don't know where you are in the world, but it's a beautiful sunny day here, so I'm going to get some fresh air. So thanks for listening. I'll post this video on my page. I will be running a little poll over the next week, to either on here or on Instagram. It might be on both actually, because I want to get some suggestions for topics that you want me to talk about. Hi Francesco. Next month I'm doing what it is like. Oh, it's a pleasure, Toby. Next week I'm doing something about if you're going back to work, if you've been off work because of the virus, etc. If you're going back to work, how to cope with the changes. And then for the next 3 weeks, I've got a number of different sections on confidence techniques, what confidence is, why we need it, why it's important. So watch out for that over the next few weeks. Oh, is it nice in Manchester? It's the same down here. I'm in Hertfordshire, down south, and it's absolutely boiling. We haven't had any rain yet. Well, we had a little bit this morning. So I'm going to get in the garden while I still can. But nice to hear you from Manchester. Thanks, Toby. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for your comments. Speak to you soon. Bye.